Right, what's up guys? So today you join me from the driver's seat of a 1996 Mark 1 MX5. Now this is actually Johnny's car. A lot of you may remember his car, the Starlet, from a previous review that I've done. This is his freshly built MX5 with a turbo on it. Yes, a turbo on it. A turboed MX5 is now come to the channel. I'm so excited to drive this bloody car. It's been a long time coming and he has been waiting and waiting to give me the keys, and I can't thank him enough for letting me take this out. Now this one has the 1.8 litre engine in it, which when the bottom end went in the original car, he thought, fuck it, let's turbo it, let's make this car savage. So at the moment it's running 238 brake horsepower through a Garrot GT25 60R turbo with a custom manifold, custom little bits and bobs all the way through the engine bay to get this car running as it should. As we take it onto a fantastic bit of road where a Suzuki Wagon-R has just gone down, which is a bit of a shame, but I've been told that you need to rev the fuck out of this car to get it going. So at about 4,500 RPM, that's when the turbo comes in. So the experience of that turbo coming in, oh, that is awesome. Do you know, it feels alive, and I talk about cars being alive all the time, and I've got this thing for MX5s. The feel of these is unreal, and when you stick more power than standard in one of these, they're hilarious to drive. They're insane. So obviously 238 brake horsepower in this one, it's mad. When it comes on boost, it's so lightweight that it just shoots you down the road like madness. It really is so good. Here we go, second gear. Oh, it makes such good noises. That is awesome. Oh. So this turbo kit was actually put together at JS Imports in Cornwall. I've seen a lot of MX5s that have come out of there with the turbo kits put on them, and this is another great one. It's got a great feel to the boost as well. Oh, it's got a great feel. It tucks in so nicely. This is actually sat on just some uprated springs and dampers, but with it being so lightweight, it's sort of already ready to be thrown around. You only really have to do a little bit to the suspension on these to get them sending it round a corner really well. Clutch itself isn't too bad. It's a little bit stiffer than standard, but you would expect it. The accelerator though, it's got a good feel. There's not a lot of weight to it, so when you do completely smack the accelerator down, there's no real weight to it, so you can smash it down when you fancy. Obviously this has been built as a track and a drift car really, so don't get me wrong, around the edges it's not as pristine as some would expect it to be, but Johnny doesn't care. This is built for purpose, this car. It is built to get fucking hurt, and every time he takes it out he completely just destroys it every time. So props to actually using your car properly, Johnny. I love it. So after it had been to JS Imports, it was taken to ME Motorsport Electronics in Bath, where he dynoed the car at 7 PSI to produce the 238 brake horsepower. It's also running the ECU from ME Motorsports Electronics, a plug and play system, so that's definitely something that I would look into if I was doing this. A plug and play system would be the way to go. Oh wow, when it really starts going, that's when you really are holding on for dear life, because you know full well that back end is very lively, especially with the brake horsepower and the lightweightness of this car. The thing is, a lot of people will ask me, how does this compare to the supercharged one? And the supercharged one, to me, don't get me wrong, there was a lot more lower boost. You've got boost the second you put your foot down, whereas this, you have to rev it to get the boost. There's not a lot of difference really. There's a little bit more power from the turbo, don't get me wrong, but you've still got a charged, turboed or supercharged MX5 roof down, lovely country lane. Best fucking experience ever. It really is best experience ever. Also, shout out to Adam at 621 representing his t-shirt in this video. Remember, go and check his channel out. he does many a Honda thing on there, but he will definitely appreciate some Mazda loving, especially if it's got a cheeky turbocharger on it like this one. Second gear. Oh yes! Third gear, and you're throwing it into a corner and it just darts around, no hesitation. Oh my god! You know, there is no weight, there's no hesitation to the car going around a corner, and when you come out, you just crest into the peak of boost. Keep your foot down to the red line if you fancy, because who gives a fuck, it's a drifter, it's all good. And my god, what an experience. What an unreal car! It slides so well. Jesus Christ alive, that's easy to slide. So guys, here we are, Mark 1 MX5 Turbo. Perfect B-road basher in my opinion. Let's have a look around this MX5. Now, straight away, obviously cosmetically, this is a track drift car, so there is many different bits and bobs to be expected around this car. Firstly, which this HKS front bumper, relatively a rare part. I think they're pretty rare. Looks awesome at the front, but obviously built for purpose, so it's wearing some scars and some wounds from its many track adventures. Come around the side, you've got some super Advan SA3Rs, 15-inch by 6.5-inch wide on the front, with a set of Speed 5 rotors on the back, with T1Rs all round. That sort of wheel and tyre package is a good setup for this car. You've got a Carbring Roll Bar there, bolt-in one, just in case you decide to go upside down at some point. You've got some Sparco harnesses and race seats in there. Very weather beaten, but that's how we like it. You've got a Colbolt Decat 2.5-inch straight through exhaust system as well, coming from the turbo. Come around this side, you've got the Momo steering wheel, a nice 8-ball gear knob. You've got a Jackson Racing boost gauge with the innovative wideband gauge as well. But coming around, I like the sort of look of this car. It looks like it's built for purpose, and that's how we like it here. Built for purpose is what it's all about. But here's where the magic happens, underneath the engine bay. We have the turbocharger, the Garrot GT25 60R. It's a custom top-mounted manifold for the turbo. It's got a Mishimoto Intercooler sat on the front, and pretty much everything else is custom on the car. All the lines are custom, all the tube work is all custom. OEM strut brace just going across the top, give it a bit more structural rigidity. The Turbo Smart wastegate sat on the top of the manifold there. Screamer pipe going down the back, cheeky screamer pipe. We do love a cheeky screamer pipe on the channel. K&N induction kit sat on the turbocharger. You've got a Mishimoto aluminium surround for the fan, so you can run a dual fan on the front of this. It's also got a Mishimoto Oil Cooler with thermostat, and Jackson Racing leads to go on top to finish the job off. All in all then, very, very well set up car this. I love it. I love the fact that I'm able to drive this car around for you guys on the channel. This has to be, you know, and I said in, you know, a couple of times, you know, scenario wise, a B road with the roof down, a turbocharged small car, does it get any better than that? The setup on this car is next level. The way it drives is next level. The way it boosts is ridiculous. You're able to redline it as you wish. If you're gonna build one, do it now, because the amount of fun you can have is ridiculous in one of these. It really is. Yeah, best time ever. I love it. Just blasting through a B road. This is what this car is about. I say B road bashers all the time, and this may be the best example. It really is, because not only have you got the rear wheel drive to slide around if you need to, you got all of the heavens above you, enough power to play with as much or as little as you fancy, and a fantastic performing and tracking car as you do it all. Unreal. Proper cool car. I love it. Oh, this is so good. Obviously I have been given permission to slide her around a little bit, by Johnny himself. He just said, go and fucking hurt it, that's why I built it. If you don't hurt it, I'll be very ashamed. So there you go, mate, hurting it like you told me to. So what are my overall thoughts on this turbocharged MX-5? Now, I was expecting something a little bit different from the supercharged one, don't get me wrong, but the feel of this one, you know, to accelerate into drive is completely different. It's a completely different experience where you have to sort of, you know, really work for the power. You're up at your 4.5, you know, 5,000 RPM before the turbo, you know, wants to sort of kick in and actually start going. You sort of have to rag it right into, you know, the red line to get your desired, you know, power and your desired speed out of the turbo and out of the engine, which I quite like. I quite like the fact that that's how it is and that's how you have to do it. Sort of like a VTEC, you know, like a Civic. I like that, you know, you can sort of, you know, let's be honest, abuse this car to get this power, and that's where I think it really comes into its own. Johnny doesn't really care about this. He wants to really, you know, make it usable. He wants to, you know, really hurt it and get, you know, a bit of excitement out of it at the same time. It's a great setup really to have the turbo coming in, you know, sort of that late really. So when you do come up to your 4,000 RPM, you're able to absolutely destroy your right foot into the car, and it absolutely loves it. I tell you, this car loves it. It wants to be revved. You know, from the supercharged to the turbo, I can see completely why you would go either way. Obviously for this one, it means you can get more brake horsepower for it. The next sort of, you know, big thing for him is taking the power from, you know, it's 238, 240 it's sat at the moment, to 300 or 320. And that, I think, will be next level. It'll be a fucking animal to drive. So I'm really looking forward to that, and hopefully we can come back to review it. So guys, I hope you liked the video. Make sure you like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers guys. Woohoo!